Hey, good morning. Today's Wednesday, the 29th of Sivan. We'd like to dedicate today's class in memory of Reb Shmuel, Reb Dov Beidish, is Neshama Shav Aliyah. We continue today in chapter 9 of Shara Eichut V'Amuna in the daily Tanya Shir. We're on page 67 in Kayenu if you're following along in today's lesson. Even the most abstract terminology we use to describe Hashem obviously fails to truly give justice to Hashem himself, of course. We just try to give as best as we can vague descriptions of Hashem's expression, but not his essence. This being so, why do we compare the distance of wisdom from Hashem to the distance of action from wisdom? But in actuality, wisdom is indefinitely more distant from Hashem. You can't say Hashem has wisdom. Hashem doesn't think with a brain. It's a whole different dimension that we can't possibly understand. Rak Haishtalshus Madregas Chachma Shehi Reishis Madregas Asiya Hashvela. Inasmuch as it is within the power of created beings to comprehend only the descent from the level of wisdom, we can only understand Hashem's attributes. Hashem has kindness, Hashem has mercy, but that's not the essence of Hashem. The real essence and the beginning is the level of wisdom, which is the beginning to the level of action, which is the lowest of level. And even that is an extension. Wisdom is something of a person, that a person has, but not the essence of the person. Therefore, we say that when it comes to Hashem, in the relation to Hashem, the level of Chachma is considered exactly as the level of action. For us, we have thought, speech, and action. With Hashem, it's all the same. But we use this example because we don't have any other example. We can't really put Hashem and his attributes to words. So we do the best that we can. Hashem is high and exalted and very greatly elevated above the level of wisdom. We can't say Hashem is the wisest. That doesn't even make sense. The Yachis Etzloi Shum Inyan Hamisyachis Lechachma Afilu B'derech Ma'ila V'ilu Rav. Really, it doesn't even make sense to give God a descriptive term as smart, wise. It doesn't. God supersedes and transcends all that. For example, to say of Hashem that he's beyond the capacity of any higher or lower creature to comprehend his wisdom or essence, even that's inappropriate. You could say, we are not on the level that we can understand Hashem. What are you trying to say? That maybe something above us could? Like, when it comes to comprehension, which is pertained and applied to a matter of wisdom and intellect, about which one can say that we can or cannot understand, then you're limiting that concept. You're saying, okay, maybe we don't understand it. Maybe we're just at a level we could understand it, but you can't put Hashem in that category. When it comes to Hashem, so if we talk about even the greatest wisdom, but God's above that wisdom. God's not confined to any wisdom. It's inappropriate to even say that one cannot comprehend Hashem because he's above us and too much to understand. No, he's above wisdom. Hashem is not confined to any wisdom at all. He's not within the realm of comprehension whatsoever. When a person, he who states that it's impossible to comprehend Hashem, is like one who says of some lofty and profound concept that it cannot be touched with their hands because of the depth of the concept. Anyone who hears this will laugh about it. It's like, what are you talking about? just because we can't comprehend it. God's not in that realm whatsoever. Lefi shechush hamishush einoi misyaches v'noifel ela ala siyah gashmi shenispeses biyodayim. Whoever hears this and you tell him that Hashem is beyond our wisdom, will mock him because the sense of touch refers and applies only to physical objects, which may be grasped by the hand. If I say, you're not going to be able to touch this particular thought, we're like, that's a stupid thing to say because it doesn't make any sense. You can't touch thoughts. But we say, and we said this yesterday, that when we think, it's one thing, then when we speak, it's another thing, and when we do action, it's a third thing. But when Hashem thinks, it's an action. Can we understand that? No, we can't. So if I said to you, can you touch my thought with your hand? Maybe you can. No, it doesn't make any sense. You can hear words, so there's some waves going through the air, but you can't grab it with your hands, right? So with words, you can say something's happening because there's breath and there's sound and this. Maybe there's more of a relationship thing. But with an idea, you can't touch it. And if you present it to somebody in that way and you say, can you touch my thoughts? They're like, no, that's impossible. Exactly so. In this, this concept, the level of intellect and comprehension in relation to Hashem is considered as actual physical action. So when Hashem thinks, things happen. So we can't have any relationship to that because it's a different realm than what we live in. We live in a 3-dimensional world. We live in time and space. There is no time and space with Hashem. Even the comprehension of the superior and spiritual intelligences in the higher worlds, even when you call it souls and angels and higher spiritual spheres or emanations, whatever you want to call them, and even the level of supernal wisdom in the world of Atzilus, which is very close to Hashem, which gives life to them, it's considered so in relation to the Holy One. Everything was created through the wisdom of Hashem. So when Hashem has wisdom, again, it's not that we can't compare it to our wisdom. All of creation is rooted in the wisdom of Atzilus, right next to God. Nevertheless, even the supernal wisdom of Atzilus is considered as action in relation to the essence of God. For God transcends everything, including this wisdom of Atzilus, as infinity. It's thus impossible to say that Hashem can or cannot be apprehended through intellect, inasmuch as intellect and wisdom are not at all by the means by which Hashem can be grasped. So why do we call God Chachma? You did it all through your wisdom. Why do we even say that? You did it all. Why don't we just say everything is created however you created it? We can't put it a descriptive term. Why do we use the word Chachma? Why do we use the word speech when it comes to Hashem, that he spoke and then the world came to being? And he spoke to him. He didn't speak. God doesn't have a mouth or a tongue or lips to speak. Especially, why is God called wise in the Torah? And our sages have also referred to Hashem with qualities of and levels of wisdom. Why? Because God is the source of wisdom. From where Hashem, from there Hashem issues and emanates the essence of the level of supernal wisdom, which is in the world of Atzilus. Likewise, Hashem is called merciful and kind, even though he utterly transcends mercy and kindness, because he is the source God is the source of wisdom. God is the source of mercy. God is the source of kindness. And all the other emotive attributes. We might call God, he's the true judge. He's the source of judgment. Not a judge, not sitting up there with a black robe deciding this. It's a whole different realm that we can't come close to fathom, not even close. But all of the different attributes that we give to God come from Hashem. The manner and nature of the flow and emanation, how and what we get judgment, kindness, mercy, all the different attributes from Hashem, and the fact that he transcends them all and nevertheless are totally united with him is known to the maskilim, those that are deep spiritual thinkers and giants. Okay, so the takeaway is trying to understand Hashem is like trying to touch a thought. It's like trying to touch an idea. Steve's full of ideas. I can't touch them. He can hardly even explain them by speaking them because the ideas are much, much greater. You have to dumb them down in order to get them out in words. So you can't touch an idea. Ideas you comprehend. And you touch objects, you touch things. Hashem is the source of intellect, yet he's not bound by the rules of logic. So that's today's takeaway, that all these descriptive terms we have of Hashem are just on his attributes. He's actually the source of all of that. And nevertheless, however much this explains how we cannot have a relationship with Hashem, in that paradox of not being able to comprehend or touch Hashem in any way, Hashem Dafka wants to have a relationship. And just as he can say, I'm untouchable, I'm unknowable, I'm unrelatable, Hashem decides he wants to have an intimate relationship with each and every one of us. And only he can do that because he can run backwards and forwards at the same time. He cannot appear and he can be above intellect and above wisdom. He's everything and nothing all at once. That he can't be. Have a good day, everybody. Try to chew on that for a little while. Have a good day.